Spurs guard DeJounte Murray was back in town, but as a member of the Atlanta Hawks today, his first game in San Antonio after the Spurs traded him back in June. With a preview of what's on Instant Replay tonight, let's check in with our friend Larry Ramirez.
Yeah, so the Spurs played a video, everybody looked up, it was cool, and the fans there gave DeJounte a nice round of applause. It was nice to see. Now the Spurs wrapped up their 6-game homestand today by hosting DJ and the Hawks, coming up tonight on a brand new edition of Instant Replay.
Spurs family, please welcome back for the first time Washington, DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, DeJounte Murray received a very nice round of applause in his first game back in San Antonio since the trade. He led Atlanta with 22 points today, but it wasn't enough to prevent the Spurs from the largest comeback win of the season, erasing a 24-point hole.
I feel like I can always I can always match life up with soccer, but sometimes life, things are just meant to be.
Jordan Farr is San Antonio FC's last line of defense, and he was the best goalkeeper in the USL Championship last season. Tonight we go one-on-one with Farr and talk about his soccer journey, road games, and his first child.
We'll go with Reed, and to start the game off, both quarterbacks will play, but I think it's time for Reed to get his opportunity.
Coming off a season low and XFL low 6 points last Saturday at Seattle, Brahmas head coach Hines Ward made a change at starting quarterback, benching Jack Cohn in favor of Reed Sinnott, although both would play. The Brahmas offense needed a spark tonight against the Renegades. Did it work? Plus, the Cowboys released Zeke this week, and then today traded for a wide receiver. And that leads us to our poll question tonight. How do you feel about the Cowboys' offseason moves? You can vote on Twitter. That and much more coming up on Instant Replay.
Lots of moves by the Cowboys and the Texans and everybody else.
And we've got them for you.
All right, you got to go back to the newsroom and head back to the locker room and warm up before we see you again. We'll see you coming back with investigators are looking back at some of the stocks that top executives at both recent failed banks, why this could be the key to proving any claims of insider trading.
And former President Donald Trump still claiming it could be arrested this week. Why people are worried his calls for protests could lead to another violent event like the January 6th insurrection. And the path to banning abortion pills could be a lot easier after one state has already done so. How likely the case here in Texas could do the same. Welcome back. We begin this half hour with the battle over abortion and a renewed focus on abortion pills. Wyoming's governor signing a ban into law. Yeah, meanwhile, Texas awaits a judge's ruling on the issue that could come as soon as this week. ABC's Jacqueline Lee tells us how both cases are expected to have an impact on abortion services nationwide.
New this morning, a growing push by conservative states to outlaw abortion pills. On Friday, Wyoming becoming the first state to make abortion pills illegal, with more states expected to follow suit. It makes exceptions for rape, incest, or if the mother's life is in danger. Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon also allowing a bill to pass that makes obtaining an abortion a felony, with abortion providers facing up to 5 years in prison for performing the procedure. Texas is bracing for a federal judge's ruling that could overturn the FDA approval of the abortion pill, the judge appointed by former President Trump. Proponents argue there are complications with the pill, causing harm to women.
We know in the pro-life movement that there are significant real risks associated with chemical abortion pills.
Women's rights advocates protesting outside the courthouse.
Medication abortion is the safest and most accessible option now for millions of women across the country.
Over in Florida, Republicans advanced a bill proposing an abortion ban after 6 weeks.
What's before you is an attempt to set out good policy for the state of Florida that promotes life.
Abortion rights advocates say many women don't even know they are pregnant at 6 weeks, essentially making this an abortion ban, which they say will have lasting effects across the country.
People will continue to identify ways to make decisions about their own bodies. These states and these state lawmakers and these governors are just making it harder for them to do so.
That was ABC's Jacqueline Lee reporting. In the Texas case out of Amarillo, the attorney for the abortion opponents are seeking an order that would make the FDA withdraw the pill immediately. Well, the abortion rights attorney has requested the judge put a pause on the withdrawal if a ruling is made in order to allow an appeal. We'll continue to give updates on this as they come in.
The Silicon Valley Bank collapse is now the largest bank failure since the 2008 financial crisis. And government filings now show that 2 weeks before it happened, top executives at the company sold stock totaling several $1 million. The bank's former CEO sold $3.6 million of the bank's stock back in February. Sources have confirmed to ABC News that the Justice Department and FBI are investigating. Public filings also show the executive chairman of First Republic sold more than $4 million in bank stock in January and February of this year. Bloomberg is reporting that billionaire investor Warren Buffett is in talks with officials from the Biden administration to offer cash lifelines to the struggling banks, something Buffett has done in the past.
Roll back the ability of the Fed to weaken regulations and calling for these CEOs to be held accountable. And when you explode a bank, you ought to be banned from banking forever.
Overseas, Swiss authorities already pumped more than $50 billion into Credit Suisse last week. Yet wary investigators have sent the stock down 30% in the past month. Today, UBS announced they'll take over the embattled bank.
The Manhattan District Attorney says his office will not be intimidated after former President Trump claimed on his social media platform that he would be arrested on Tuesday, along with calling for his supporters to protest. ABC News has not been able to verify Trump's claims, and ABC's Jay O'Brien explains why Trump feels so strongly an arrest is coming his way.
Former President Trump took to his social media platform on Saturday, claiming he will be arrested on Tuesday in relation to the Manhattan DA's investigation into alleged hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 presidential election. ABC News has not verified the claims, and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office providing no comment on whether such an arrest would take place. A short time later, a Trump spokesperson issued a statement seeming to walk back the claims, saying in part that there is no notification from the DA on the arrest and insisting the former president is, quote, rightfully highlighting his innocence and the weaponization of our injustice system. Some Republicans have joined Trump in his outrage. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy in a tweet calling the possible arrest an outrageous abuse of power by a radical DA. Former Vice President Mike Pence also weighing in an interview with ABC's Jonathan Karl.
It just feels like a politically charged prosecution here. And I, for my part, just feel like it's just not what the American people want to see.
No one is above the law, not even the former president of the United States.
In his post, the former president called on his supporters to protest.
I believe that people understand that if they give voice to this, if this occurs on Tuesday, that they need to do so peacefully and in a lawful manner.
Manhattan's District Attorney Alvin Bragg says he will not be intimidated in an email sent Saturday evening to his staff obtained by ABC News, writing, "We do not tolerate attempts to intimidate our office or threaten the rule of law in New York." Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
Well, in Mexico now, a family is not losing out on hope after their mother was seen kidnapped in Mexico. Now the FBI offering a reward of up to $20,000 for information to help them find her. 63-year-old Maria del Carmen Lopez was last seen now 5 weeks ago in Pueblo Nuevo. Her daughter says investigators have ruled out cartels, but believe this could be a coordinated kidnapping. The only evidence the family has is testimony from witnesses who say they saw a white van drive up to Lopez.
There was an exchange of words. She was refusing to get into the van. There was another individual who stepped out of the van and helped those two bring her inside, and they drove away.
Her disappearance comes just 2 weeks after 4 Americans were kidnapped in Matamoros, Mexico.
At least 13 people are dead after a magnitude 6.8 earthquake hit the southern region of Ecuador yesterday. The casualty update coming from the country's president. On social media, officials also say the number of people injured after that quake is now at 461, and more than 84 homes have been destroyed as a result. The quake was nearly 41 miles deep, according to the United States Geological Survey.
All right, let's go back outside with live cam here tonight. Pretty chilly conditions in place right now, and it's going to be even colder as we head into the overnight hours and wake up first thing tomorrow morning. Kind of like what we saw earlier this morning. Here in San Antonio, we had an official morning low of 43 degrees. That was 10 degrees below the average for this time of year. Same as we headed into the afternoon, just shy of 60. Average high is about 75. The record for today, 90 degrees, that was set back in the 1930s. 61 was the high in Pleasanton, 60 over in Gonzales, 59 in Hondo, Del Rio, making it up to 54. Cloud cover held on just a little bit longer out in our western and southern counties earlier this afternoon, which led to some of those cooler temperatures. Again, right now here in Bexar County, upper 40s, low 50s. A cold start tomorrow morning. Jackets needed, but those temperatures will start to warm. We'll talk about exactly when, get you another full look at the week ahead coming up in just a few, Courtney.
Thank you, Mia. Well, the potential of what's to come at Hemisfair Park is big. The plan's already in place to benefit one particular community.
As construction continues at Hemisfair's future Civic Park in downtown, there's another space nearby being designed for older adults. Tiffany Huerta spoke to locals about what they would like to see in that area.
I remember when the Tower of the Americas, when the restaurant reached the top.
Hemisfair. It's a place that brings back memories for San Antonio resident Merle Sprague and her family.
If we could wave a magic wand, bring back the Hemisfair monorail. That'd be fun.
Changes are coming to this area under the tower. Hemisfair is designing a special area to benefit visitors who are 65 and older and have released a survey asking for input. Merle and her husband have some ideas.
Flower beds. The river is so beautiful, so if they could extend the botanical garden feeling, that would be nice.
Living in the city, it's very important, I think, to have a feeling of nature, to take away from the
green space,
overwhelming urbanization that goes on.
The survey asks what features or programs you would like to see at Hemisfair, from workout equipment specifically designed for older adults to additional accessible seating.
We are designing the park based off of the 8 to 80 scale. We're designing it for 8-year-olds and we're designing it for 80-year-olds so that when visitors come to San Antonio in big groups, there's something for everybody to do. Same thing with the locals.
Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
And if you want to weigh in and give your input on what features or programs you'd like to see there, visit KSAT.com for a link to the survey that is available until the end of April.
Well, Mia, we've had some crazy, strange, unseasonable weather lately, but it's made for some beautiful photos.
It really has. And really, it was the sunshine today that made for a really nice end to the weekend. I hope that you enjoyed it because tomorrow does look to be generally cloudy. We could find a few peaks of sunshine, but nothing really like this. Take a look at this awesome photo that was sent in from Taylor McClelland. This was earlier this afternoon near the Woodlawn Lake area. This is a partial 22-degree halo thanks to that deck of cirrostratus clouds there on the top half of that photo there. We see those halos form thanks to the way that the sunlight is refracted through the ice crystals that make up that cirrostratus deck of clouds. Honestly, a really impressive photo. So thank you to Taylor for sending that in via KSAT Connect. All right, yes, so the cloud cover is with us as we head into our Monday, into our Tuesday, and then mostly cloudy skies in store into Wednesday and Thursday. I do think, at least as of right now, after that front moves in Thursday night, we'll see a little bit more sunshine by Friday and into the beginning of next weekend. That also will come with some warmer temperatures, but yes, it is still chilly out there right now. 52 here in town, 46 in Kennedy, it's 49 in Gonzales, 48 in Cotulla, and 46 is the current temperature over in Hondo. We will see those temperatures continue to fall through the overnight hours. Another unseasonably cold start to the morning. First thing tomorrow, waking up to the upper 30s, low 40s, 39 degrees, that forecast low in Kerrville, as well as Rock Springs, 41 in Uvalde, and 43 over in Del Rio. If you think that's cold, cold. Take a look at our neighbors off to the east. Below freezing temperatures expected across the better portion of the deep south waking up tomorrow morning. Freeze warnings in effect for the deep south as well. All areas in purple. That even stretches into far east Texas. Pretty incredible to see for this time of year. Of course, we are not expecting a freeze here in south central Texas, but it will be unseasonably cold. Extra layers and jackets definitely needed first thing tomorrow morning. Again, we'll start off around 41 here in San Antonio. Maybe a stray shower, light shower possible throughout the first half of the day. Generally cloudy skies, just shy of 50 by lunchtime, and then in the mid 50s for those daytime highs. We also could see, especially later in the day, a few wind gusts upwards of 20 miles per hour as we see those winds shift in from the southeast. 57 at Stinson tomorrow, 58 over in Poteet, 59 in Nixon, 57 in Devine is that forecasted high temperature. Here is that highly advertised warming trend that we've been talking about over the past few days. So we're closer to about 70 degrees already by Tuesday as that moisture starts to work back in, and then approaching the 80-degree mark already by Wednesday, and then low 80s by Thursday ahead of that next front that moves in. But you can see we still are expected to find those spring-like temperatures behind that weak front. So that one's not going to impact those highs or lows as much as the one that we saw move in last Friday. But we also will be monitoring before that front can get here over the next few mornings, some drizzle and some fog really as early as Tuesday morning. Tomorrow we just have that stray potential for a quick shower. Most of us do stay dry, cloudy into the afternoon, but you can see here by Monday evening and into Monday night, there's some of that drizzle and fog that starts to take back over as that moisture returns. So we'll keep eyes on it again. Thursday night is our next storm potential that comes in with that weak Pacific cold front. Still have a lot of time to fine tune the details on that. And then more sunshine as we get ready to end the week and head into next weekend, guys.
I suppose we have to have it feel like spring eventually.
I hope I'm wrong, but that's probably the last of the 40s we see for a while. I'm guessing.
Yeah. We're sad about it, but I know a lot of people aren't.
It'll be 100 before too long, and you can all sweat and be happy.
No. No.
We'll be right back.
You're an interesting man.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania made $4.1 million for fifth place and a domestic total of $206 million. 65, the only non-sequel in the top five, took fourth place on ticket sales of $5.8 million. Creed 3 spent its third round in theaters in third place, earning $15.4 million.
This isn't like any other Ghostface.
After one weekend on top, Scream 6 fell to second, but made $17.5 million for a 10-day domestic total of $76 million.
The wizard gave me superpowers. Well, then everybody got superpowers.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods opened with $30.5 million, far less than the $53.5 million debut of the 2019 original, but easily enough to top the chart. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Lots of sequels there. Well, with the NFL's new league year underway, the Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans have been very busy shaking up their rosters.
Yes, and March Madness is mad and crazy as usual. The UT men had to rally to avoid an upset, and the Baylor Lady Bears were lucky to advance. For more on what's on Instant Replay, here's Larry Ramirez.
March Madness, it's all about survive and advance. Yes. Absolutely. Give yourself a shot, right? Number one seeds, Kansas and Purdue, are out on the men's side, while Texas and Baylor are still alive in the women's bracket. Coming up tonight on Instant Replay.
Oh, man, I have high hopes. You know, they got a great team. They're very talented, had some preseason hype, had some injuries, and they're here. They got NC State, and hopefully we get a little Baylor showdown in the second round so me and Jeremy can make a bet or something. I'm not dyeing my hair, though, I'll tell you that.
This could be fun. Doug McDermott and his Creighton Blue Jays faced off with Jeremy Sohan's Baylor Bears tonight in the second round of the men's tournament. We'll let you know who won that game and tell you how TCU is doing. Plus, recap Texas and Houston's second round wins from Saturday.
Wow, we were really bad in the first quarter and really good after that. You know, I think they came out punching
Nikki Collin also said her Lady Bears were getting punked and they needed to step up after Alabama outscored them 22-4 in the first quarter. Baylor did just that to advance, and the Texas Longhorns had no trouble at all with East Carolina in the first round. The Texans and Cowboys made a trade. The Spurs had their biggest comeback of the season, and SAFC is coming home with a point. That and much more tonight on Instant Replay.
You're all warmed up and ready to go?
I am, baby. Let's do it.
Good. I was not ready for the second half, man. It's all been downhill after I talked to you last time. Thanks,
It's okay. We're going to be fine. It's almost over. We'll be right back.